Hello and sunny Bonani! Welcome to the top tier of BrakeAway League Racing. It is 7:32 on a Thursday, which could only mean one thing, and that is Tier 1 of BrakeAway Racing League action. Welcome to the Yas Marina Circuit. We are looking forward to what should be a spectacular spectacle as far as the top tier BrakeAway Racing League action is concerned. We have a decent complement of drivers, about 13 or so. Brendan N-Cube is in the comments saying, let's go. No doubt cheering on the one and only Mex, whose presence I don't quite see here today. Perhaps, hopefully, Mex will be joining us. Lancelot is in the comments saying, let's rock. And if this is the same Sir Lancelot who was racing in Tier 3 on Tuesday, then what a spectacular talent you are. And definitely look forward to seeing you racing in the upper echelons of this BrakeAway Racing League ladder, if you will. I'm going to make sure that you have all the necessary detail you would need. Looks like Zotal is the only driver opting to go out on a set of mediums initially, but that may yet change. One of the McLarens are already out. Lancelot is the very same one who used to be Cubzino in as far as gamer tag names are concerned, but right now he has changed his gamer tag to Sir Lancelot, a name, of course, which goes a long way back if you're a fan of literature or alternative histories, if you will. Hey, anyway, we've got just over 16 minutes of this first of 3 qualifying sessions to go. Thank you for choosing BrakeAway Racing League as your league of choice today to check out some fantastic action. We do hope and expect that more drivers will be joining us as the clock ticks towards 8 p.m. and the load shedding schedules start to switch over for drivers across the country. But right now we are watching Lipo. I am Lipo, the rookie, as far as the top tier BrakeAway League Racing is concerned, in the papaya orange colors of McLaren. He was part of an unfortunate double DNF in race number 1 last week. Sadly, both Lipo and Don crashed out of the race in Miami. And he knows, of course, that the pressure is all on him as one of the new drivers this season. He's got a lot to live up to. Last year's rookies were very, very solid. Of course, the likes of Donathan Laka, the likes of Mex. But Lipo will be looking to do what needs to be done to secure his place and his seat next season and beyond. Let's go, says definitely Duke, a driver who has definitely found some pace in the intervening preseason period, as we now watch Lipo look to replicate the efforts and the pace of the likes of definitely Duke. 18.3 is his Sector 1 split, so watch that closely as Lancelot asks, will anyone get anywhere close to Mango's time? As Don Rabico also makes his presence felt in the comments section. Mango's time, remember, 1 minute 22.642, I believe that was. A sensational effort to top the timing sheets and set a huge gauntlet, lay down a massive gauntlet for the entire BrakeAway Racing League ladder. Here comes Lipo now. He's made it through the chicane, that being, of course, turns 6 and 7, and now rushes towards the long looping left-hander of turn 9. His Sector 2 split was in the 54 seconds, I believe, as definitely Duke says that Lipo needs to make sure his ERS is off when he's on his outlap. He had it turned on, and he's definitely losing too much power as he now makes his way through the hotel section. Yellow flags on another section of track. There's a slow-moving Red Bull, I think, in the run towards turn number 5. It may yet be an outlap, or it could be Man Ray, whose lap we will see in a minute or two. Here comes Lipo, final corner, points it down the main straight, has a little bit of moment with his rear end. He crosses the line. 26.795 is the initial banker effort. Meanwhile, Man Ray is now making his way across the Sector 2. Another driver who has survived courtesy of the playoffs, or rather who has made it back to the top tier courtesy of the playoffs, and he is looking to carry on that positive momentum through this season. He will cross the line with a 26.378, just a marginal difference there, almost 4/10 between Lipo and Man Ray as things currently stand. Who else is next across the line? It looks like an AlphaTauri, but they're still on their outlap. So instead, we will catch up with the blue Debo Croc, who should be next to steady representative lap. What does it look like from his perspective? He's got 13.5 minutes, just under, and it looks like he may yet top the timesheets. Could he? Not quite. He tucks right between Lipo and Man Ray with a 26.476. Lots of time yet still to go. And remember to like the stream, folks, as definitely Duke is reminding you in the comment section. What about Mandla? Very, very confident is Mandla with each and every passing season. This year, he's driving in the colors of Haas as Donathan Laka right behind him crosses the line to set the quickest time of the day on a set of medium compound tires. Mandla set a 1:28. This man, Donathan Laka, now in his second season in the top tier BrakeAway League Racing, sets a 25.727. I do wonder what the likes of Smirch Django, the defending champion, will have to say here, and Don Radico, and context as well. Well, speaking of context, that being that man Justice, he has just begun, now making his way through turns number 2 and 3, and the small kink, that being 4, down towards the sector 1 split. 18.160 is that split. He's being given a little bit of a tow by his teammates, but Fence, as I say that, nudges out of the way, and Fence is now going to complete his outlap, but of course, yeah, Fence is was unlucky to have a DNF last time out in Miami. Context, this man, Justice, did not start that race, so he's under pressure now to make sure that he racks up as many points as humanly possible. Of course, just 12 races in this BrakeAway Racing League season. We're only on race number 2 as context sets a 54.558 in the second sector split, and we'll see how he fares. And right now, it looks like Fence is getting a little bit of a tow, even though it's on an outlap. So only 6 have set laps thus far, but Tempo Temba's 1 minute 33, definitely not representative according to his high standards. We'll catch up with him in a moment or two. Here comes context now on the final sequences of corners, and he has an almighty spin in the penultimate corner. Car faces completely the wrong way, and context, Zephyr, Justice, is absolutely not having such a great time here today, perhaps carrying too much speed, lost the rear end, and had an almighty spin. Will now just want to cross the line and just have a banker lap in the bag. But yeah, not looking comfortable at all, as we now hop back on board with Seppo Temba, who is definitely taking things quite slowly here. It doesn't look like he's giving it a proper push at this particular point. So we'll catch up with him when he's definitely on a genuine push lap. Meanwhile, Mandla, at the end of Sector 2, has found marginal improvement. But as I say that, no, it's actually not the case. He's down 0.4 of a second. Mandla, with a lot of work to do. He's got it all to do here before all is said and done. Debo Croc gave it another push. He found 0.4 worth of improvement, and he then gains 2 places. He's now up to P2 with the second quickest time, 1 minute 26.064. Donathan Laka, still the quickest on those mediums. Man, oh man, oh man. Is that going to be the best that we will see here so far? Time will tell. Now, on board with Zotal, back in the Red Bull seat, Sector 1 of a 17.855 is definitely one of the quicker ones that we've seen thus far. Zotal back in the Red Bull colors for the first time in quite a long time. If you've been a long-time viewer of the BrakeAway Racing League season, you will remember that back in the day, Zotal and Caboza were teammates driving for Red Bull. I believe that was Caboza's debut season in the top tier in the previous generation of cars, but right now it's the new regulation RP18 in the hands of Zotal, who has said publicly that he needs to eliminate mistakes. He needs to stop spinning so that he can start being consistent among the fighters towards the front. The former champion, the 3-time BrakeAway Racing League top tier champion, Seekley, is in the comment section. It is good to see you in the comments, and as well as everybody else who has been making their presence felt in the comments. I want to know what your expectations are. We've seen Mango set a pole position lap down in Tier 3, 1 minute 22.6. Will we see anything even close to that in the top tier? Motel Mekwa Mex is in the comment section. Want to see you out on track. Here comes Zotal to pip Donathan Laka for the quickest time of the day at 1 minute 25.702. Saving those soft compound tires, those fast soft compound tires, is Zotal and Don and Romeo. And he goes quickest thus far. Galalatsang, the 86er, is now out on track. He needs to make his presence felt, possibly among the points. He's back in the top tier. As I say that, he is spinning, and that rear wing hits the barrier, the Tech Pro barrier, right near the the tractor crane, and the 86er, with a heart-in-mouth moment, will be thanking his lucky stars that car is still intact. Thankfully for him, the 86er still running, and will definitely be catching his breath there. Meanwhile, Ingawako D-Wax just crossed the line for a 27.362. Lee Brandt, I believe that is Sun Hashira, just says he's waiting for his load shedding schedule to end. It's going to be good to see Sun Hashira in the comments, or rather on track, and not only in the comment section, I beg your pardon. And Kawako D-Wax, one of the most consistent drivers throughout every top tier BrakeAway Racing League season. I believe with every race he started, he only failed to collect points on I believe it might have been 2 occasions. So very, very consistent driver, and he's looking to do exactly that, collect points once again. D-Wax and Gawako managed to come home in P10, collecting points alongside his teammate Ban Kobe, who's in the comments. We hope to see Ban Kobe when the race begins proper. As the Nucho or Peace says, remember to like the stream if you have not done so already. The 86 are giving it another go, as is the likes of Fensei, who managed to recover from that mistake to set a 1 minute 26.853, and Gawako is, of course, just behind him. So the lay of the land with this first qualifying session ticking down, 6 minutes 45 seconds. Zotal currently quickest from Donathan Laka. Debo Croc currently third quickest from Man Ray in fourth. Lipo, the rookie, currently fifth from Fensei. And Gawako seventh. Romeo is currently in eighth, and he's just validated on another run. Seppo Temba, with that 1 minute 33, is on an outlap, currently ninth quickest from Context, aka Justice. Don Radical, Smirts Django, the two would-be contenders for the throne, currently running in P11 and 12 respectively. Caboza, the pacey Caboza, in the colors of Team Williams, I believe, currently in the pits. P14 and P15 is the 86er. 11 races left, says Lee, aka Sun Hashira. There's still enough time, or is there? Is there enough time, Sun Hashira? We know how pacey he could be. We look forward to seeing what he could do when this race begins in earnest. Here comes now Seppo Temba to begin a proper push. Seppo Temba driving for Alpha Tauri. Teammate this year is Josh, aka Damnesia, who has already missed the first race of the season. Here comes Seppo Temba now. He is AlphaTauri's only hope for points today, as things currently stand. Sadly, he crashed out in Miami, could not finish. But even more sadly, he is not looking pretty pacey right now. He's down a 10th come the end of Sector 1, so he's got it all to do here as he opens up that rear wing, gets the benefit of DRS, and the run now towards turns 6 and 7, that chicane. Back on board with the AlphaTauri driver. Thank you for joining us with 5 minutes of this quality session to go. This being the top tier BrakeAway Racing League, we have a full quality session. So Qs 1, 2, and 3. If you're new to Formula 1, how it works is essentially all these drivers have, in the first quality session, they have about 18 minutes to go around the track and try and set as quick a lap as possible. The slowest drivers get eliminated. So if we had a full grid of 20 drivers, then 5 would be getting knocked out in Q1, and a further 5 getting knocked out in Q2, the 5 slowest that being. And then in Q3, we then have the top 10 shootout, the battle to see who will go quickest of all and qualify in pole position. Seppo Temba comes across the line with a 25.928. So he's in the 1 minute 25s, but not quick enough to challenge the two drivers who set their times on medium compound tires. Now, on board we go with the champion, whose Sector 2 split is a 54.589. Smirch Django, who wrested the throne, the crown from C-Clay last time out, now rushes towards the hotel section and turn 12. He hits that apex neatly. He's got 3 minutes 45 seconds to stake his claim on the quickest time for Q1 before we move on to Q2 and 3. He crashed out in dramatic fashion in Miami after someone made contact with his Mercedes from the back. This time he comes across the line 26.248. P5 on a brand new set of soft tires. Is that the best that we've seen from Smirch Django? Is he sandbagging? What kind of a time do you expect the likes of Django, the likes of Don Ravico, the likes of Jonathan Laka, even Zotal? What kind of times do you expect them to do as this session hurtles on towards its dramatic conclusion? For now, we are going to see what Caboza can do. Don Ravico, Romeo, the two drivers still on their outlaps. So we'll catch up with them a little bit later. On board now, Sector 1 of a 22.757. Caboza seemingly is just content to move around the circuit quite slowly here. He's definitely not pushing. He's abandoned this attempt. Perhaps he's going to give it a proper push next time around. So instead, we will catch up with the fast-moving contest. To answer your question, Duke, yes, Django has opted to retire his car, so he's happy with the banker lap that he has, and he should still be going through to Q2, all things considered. So he's happy with that time. What about Context? What can he do now? His initial push lap was a 26.529, but it doesn't look like he's found improvements. He's down a second as he now makes his way through the second and third sectors of this track. Don Radical came through last time out and won the race. It's advantage Don as he gets a little bit of a slippery exit through the chicane of turn number 7 and sends it rushing now down towards turn number 9. He's in the advantage. One of his rivals, that being the champion Smirch Django, crashed out, of course. Well, Don Ravico managed to claim a decent complement of points. And he's looking in very, very good nick here as he comes towards turn 12, hits the apex cleanly, and navigates the hotel section by taking a very tight line, almost making contact with the bollards there. But he manages to keep it intact. Of course, Don Ravico, one of a select few drivers who are using very few, if any, assists. No ABS. He's on the racing wheel, and he's on top of the timing sheet. A 1 minute 24.366 is by some margin the quickest time we've seen today, and perhaps a taste of things to come. How much quicker will he get? Time will tell. The clock is now ticking down towards the conclusion of Q1. The 86er has navigated the initial sequences of corners where he came unstuck last time out. There's a slow-moving car on the stretch of track just after turn number 5. Could that be Capoza, I wonder? Well, we'll pay attention instead to the 86er. And the way that the rest of his Q1 push will go currently has yet to set a time. Neither has Loveness. In the colors of Haas, Loveness has just 30 seconds to cross the line. And I do hope that he will make it. He's one of the two Haas's that you see on the track map on your right. The other being, of course, Mandla, who's already on another push lap. Here comes the 86er now through turns 13 and 14. Looking clean, looking confident. Definitely looking better than the last time out, but I spoke too soon because the 86er is putting on somewhat of a clinic as far as spinning is concerned. He's got 4 seconds just to cross the line and set his banker lap. Don't go straight into the pits. Oh, it's an invalidation by the 86er, so he's got no choice but to come into the pits. So it's a nightmare scenario for him. It's pretty much over for the 86er's prospects. And Loveness, could he set a time? No, he didn't make it in time, did Loveness. He came out too late. Loveness, as it stands, well, it's too little too late. Don Ravico, folks, is the quickest driver in Q1. Zotal immediately behind him with a 25.7 medium tires, that must be noted. Jonathan Laka, P3 in Q1 from Seppo Temba in 4th. Debo Croft, P5 from Man Ray in 6th. Smirch Django retired from the session, having set his banker lap for the 7th quickest time in the first quality session. Ingawako, D-Wax went 8th quickest, quickest Justice, that being Context, went P9. I Am Lipo is I Am P10 as things currently stand. Fensei went 11th quickest. Mandla 12th. Kaboza 13th. Loveness and the 86er failing to set representative laps. Now, coming up is Q2. Stay tuned, folks. It's great to have you all here. Remember to like the stream, subscribe to the channel if you have not done so already. It's the top tier Breakaway Racing League, Q2, up next. Van Kobe is in the comment section saying, "Don't count me out, folks. I have something to say as far as this season is concerned." So Van Kobe feeling good, feeling confident, managed to start off his season on a positive note, finishing in the points. Made it one of only 3 teams, oh, I beg your pardon, 4 teams that finished the race in Miami with both drivers in the points. That was, of course, the Alfa Romeo of Van Kobe and D-Wax. And before I get to that, you will now see the times. Look at that gap. Don Rabico, his advantage is 1.3 seconds over the P2 running Zotile at the end of Q1. Donathan Laka, 1.3 seconds also behind the time-topping Don Rabico. Tempo Temba, a second and a half. And then we have Debo Crop, 1.7 seconds behind and beyond. As I was saying, folks, the Alfa Romeos of D-Wax and Van Kobe finished in the points. The Williams of Debo Crocs and Kaboza also finished in the points, as well as the team of Tindo and Mex. And Madla and Loveness also made it a full complement of teams finishing in the points in Miami last time out. What a race it was for Loveness, it must be said. Loveness, who you would remember if you were a longtime Breakaway Racing League viewer, Loveness managed to finish. Loveness managed to finish in the managed to win the race in Abu Dhabi on this circuit last time out in dramatic fashion, making contact with the Zotile, I believe it was. And now he finished the first race of this season in the points. Listen, folks, it's a lucky break for the likes of Loveness, for the likes of the 86er. Looks like this game is forgiving to them because they're still taking part in Q2. But this time, they all have, 15 minutes to set the fastest time possible. But it's not going to be that simple. Only 10 can go through from this session. Only 10 drivers, as Don Rabico was asking. Why will there be rain in Abu Dhabi? Perhaps there's something, a little hint of drama in the session later on that would make things a tad interesting if that is definitely the case. Lipo, the rookie, is back out on track once again. We saw his effort last time was good enough to secure his progression through to this session. So he's one of the drivers coming out early, wasting no time. So this time we will instead catch up, perhaps, initially with the likes of Ingawako D-Wax. Mango's quality time was a 1 minute 22.6. What a sensational effort that was. We'll get a sense of whether or not it can or will be matched. Kid K is not very confident in Don Rabico's abilities in the comment section, predicting a DNF. What in the world is going on? Well. Mex quite surprised by the early reports of possible rain, perhaps in the race itself. That would be something on this circuit. We now have Ingawako crossing the line to begin his hot lap in earnest. Turn 1, clean 4th gear there for Ingawako. The likes of Lipo, Mandla, Zotile have also begun their hot laps. Seppo Temba as well. Here comes Ingawako D-Wax towards the Sector 1 split. 17.907. Turn 5, a little bit wide of the apex there. How will it go on the run towards turn number 6 and 7. Turns 6 and 7, I beg your pardon. That's oh so tasty chicane. Not just the apex through 6, as well as 7. And the car behind him loses a little bit of ground. I believe it is one of the Hasses behind Ngawako. And he now sends it hurtling towards turn number 9. Long looping left-hander 54.233 is the early benchmark. As far as Ngawako is concerned, Lipo ahead of Ngawako will set the initial banker lap, the initial benchmark as things currently stand. So we'll get a quick sense of how that will go. Here comes now Ngawako through the hotel section, navigates it cleanly. And now the final sequences of corners where we saw a couple of drivers spin earlier on, but not Ngawako, not D-Wax. He crosses the line this time. 25.7 is the early benchmark. Romeo crosses the line. 26.160. Depot Croc, Bongani, and Guanya, the quickest thus far with that time of the 25s. But as I say that, Seppo Temba shows what he is made of. Sets a 24.845 as the times well and truly start to tumble. They see Red Bull on the verge of crossing the line. Is it Zotao? No, it's not, because he's come back into the pit, so not happy with his efforts. So instead, we'll cross over to Donathan Laka. Fensei has set a 26.508, meanwhile, putting him in P5 as things currently stand. Donathan Laka, rookie no more, looking for consistency, looking for performances. What a beautiful exit he gets, but that time not quite quick enough to dislodge Seppo Temba from that top spot. Josh, aka Damnesia, somewhere in South Africa, cheering on his teammate Seppo Temba. Wow, what can the likes of the champion Django do? Now making his way into the hotel section. Turns 12 and 13 cleanly navigated. 14 is a clean touch of the apex there, and now exits through 5th and 6th gear. Oh, a little bit of a moment there, but it looks like it might have been a slight glitch. But he will now come across the line. Will Django, not quite the quickest, 25.059. How much pace does he still have in the bag? I wonder. There's a Haas on the verge of crossing the line. It looks like we've lost Loveness. I'm not sure. Well, Mandla is making his way. He's in the pits as Mandla. He's making his way out. Not sure why that time is kind of counting. Well, a little bit of a weird moment there with the lobby displays, or rather with the timing tower display. So we'll instead cross over to Man Ray, back in the top tier. Django is adjusted fast on his wheel, says Kid K in the comment section. Looks like Man Ray and his teammate Zotao are running pretty close together on track, but of course Zotao still on that outlap. Zotao was one of the top running drivers in Q1 with that medium tire in that initial session, so we'll see what Zotao is made of by the time he comes across the line this time. We are watching Man Ray, but the Sector 2... Only on Sector 2, making his way now towards turn 9. What will it be? 54.058 for the Red Bull driver. A decent partnership. Man Ray, of course, a driver who's definitely found a semblance of form in Tier 2 and fought his way back to the top tier of BrakeAway Racing League. He was the former partner of the former champion Sikle. The last time he was in the top tier. Let's see now how his initial push lap will go with 8 minutes of this session to go. It's a 25.755, and Man Ray is currently P7 as things currently stand. Remember, only 10 can go through. So that time putting Man Ray in P7, he will not feel comfortable. He will not feel safe enough to go through as yet. On board now with Zotao, who will hope that the car ahead of him makes way. And do they? Yes, they do. It looks like a slow-moving Haas as Zotao sets a 17.795 to complete his first sector. Turn number 5 now for Zotao is navigated cleanly. And it was instead an Alfa Romeo, that being a Ngawako, who made way for Zotao there. These lap times are suspect. Lancelot not believing what he's seeing. He knows that there's much more pace to be found here as Zotal gets a tiny slipstream down that long straight. So, team game being played by Team Red Bull. Both drivers hoping to make it through to Q3 and stake their claim for that potential fight for pole position. Man Ray playing the ultimate team game, giving him a nice toe and makes way before Zotal sets a sector 2 split of a 53.695. Looking decent, looking okay, looking through turn 9 in gear 5. Zotal, as we get this beautiful overhead helicopter shot, now navigates turns 11 and 12. Absolutely cleanly. He's right on the racing line as Zotal, looking to make amends on what could have been a memorable race win on the final race of last season. Zotal looking so good on this circuit. How will he look now as he looks to stake his claim on a Q3 spot? Here he comes now across the final corner. It's Zotal to the line behind Django, 25.435 for the Red Bull driver. Man, oh man, what a race we have in prospect. Don Rabico, meanwhile, is navigating his way across the third and final sector with 6 minutes, 18 seconds of this session to go. Slow-moving car ahead of him. Rabico, will he go straight to the top of the time sheets this time? Yes, it's a 24.117 for the Aston Martin driver, laying down the gauntlet once again, not shy to show what kind of pace he is made of in this session. The 86er, Galalat Sang, who needs to find himself in the points, having missed the first race, has opted to run on a set of medium compound tires with with just under 6 minutes of the session to go. Is it confidence, or is he just not confident in his prospects to make it through? So he's just doing medium tire runs. What's going on with the 86er, Galalat Sang, Kigawaithi? Well, it's sector 2 now, turns 6 and 7, the chicane. Will now send it screaming towards turn 9 and that sector 2 split. What kind of times will we see? The rookie Lipo, meanwhile, is out on track. That is the McLaren that you see running just behind the 86er. Lipo knows as it stands, P12 will not be good enough. Only 10 go through, remember. So Lipo trying to find some improvement and trying to get a little bit of a tow from the back of that Mercedes W13 in the hands of the 86er. Can he get it? Oh no, the 86er spins once again. The 86er in 6s and 7s throughout this entire quality session. We hop on instead to Lipo, trying to secure his spot. Oh, he gets a not such a great exit as the 86er is really struggling here, struggling for grip. Not for the first time, we see him spinning out, invalidating. Well, he won't get lucky this time. There is a cutoff, remember. If he doesn't set a time, he's going to be out well and truly. I want to hear from you in the comment section. The driver currently in P10, Man Ray, has a 1 minute 25.755. What kind of times do you expect will be enough to secure progression through to Q3? Fensei is out on track, having set his personal best in this session of a 25.265. So as it stands, will he be feeling safe enough? The championship leader, Don Rabico, is feeling confident enough to retire. In the pits, Teppo Temba, currently the second quickest driver, and currently the only other driver in the 1 minute 24s. Kaboza, third quickest, 1 minute 25.033. Ban Kobe is in the lobby. He will be racing. Smirch Django, currently fourth quickest from Fensei, who we're now watching on his in-lap. So considering that, we will hop on board with Mandla, who has found 2/10 of a second worth of improvement through the end of the first sector. He improves that to about 7/10. So Mandla definitely on here for a chance of staking his claim within Q3. Lancelot reckons 25.2 will be the cutoff if you want to make it through to Q3 unscathed. I wonder if that will come to bear within the remaining 3 minutes. Mandla makes an uncharacteristic mistake. Oh man, it's a mistake there on the exit of, I believe it was turn number 14, and that'll compromise him severely. But will he still find improvement? He still finds improvement. He lost about 2/10 of a second, did Mandla. He comes across the line, P8. He was out provisionally. He was, I think, down in P12, and now P8, 25.630. Despite the mistake, Mandla finding improvements. And he finds himself provisionally in P8. And Gawako D-Wax under pressure. What can he do now? Turn 12. Sector 3 has begun for the Alfa Romeo driver. Ban Kobe's partner in crime. In the colors of Alfa Romeo. Of course, both Alfas finished on the points in race 1. Will it be a repeat feat this time out? 2.5 minutes of this session to go. Ingawako, D-Wax, looking to stake his claim. He finds improvements. He finds himself P5. It's a beautiful improvement by Ingawako as Donovan Laka, down in P8, has opted to retire. Well, that's an interesting choice there. Very confident, 25.4. Donovan Laka rolling the dice, retiring from the pits. Let's catch up now. We've already seen the likes of Lipo. So let's see what Debo Croc, Bangani, and Gwenya can do now. He's just made his way into turn 5. Nope, that's an abandoned lap. Debo Croc will give it another push, another go from scratch. The 86er has stopped playing games. No more games, no more mind games, no more rolling the dice for the 86er. Gallo Litsang. We've seen him spin, but now he's booted on a set of soft compound tires. The tire with the most grip, of course, the quickest compound of tire. He sets an 18.2 in his initial sector. He's got it all to do here, does the 86er. He will have seen by now what kind of times have been set by the likes of Zotal in P8, 25.4. Fensei with a 25.2 in P7 is back in the pits. Gallo Litsang, the GT, the 86er, is now into turns 6 and 7. Gear 3 for him. And sends it screaming down towards 9. And before that, of course, we expect to see what kind of Sector 2 split he will do. It's now or never. 54.709. Well, can he make it? He's only got one shot. To paraphrase Marshall Mathers, you only get one shot. Do not miss your chance for pole. This opportunity comes once in Q2. As far as the 86er is concerned, a little bit wide on the exit of 14 as Django sets the quickest time of the day, 24.067. The gloves are off between the top two. Here comes the 86er, hoping against all hope, but it's not enough. The 86er, with just 16 seconds of this session to go, may not be quick enough to get this done, and he has an almighty spin. The rear wing once again going into the wall as the 86ers' nightmare continues. That seemingly will be that for the 86er. Django, the quickest man on track in Q2 with a 24.067. How much more time does he have in the bag? He nudges Don Ravigo down at P2. The tiniest of margins between those two. Look at those times. Seppo Temba went third quickest in this session. Ingawako D-Wax is still outrunning. So Tempo in third quickest from context. Kaboza P5, having retired much earlier on. Ingawako P6, as we watch, I think, the ghost of the 86er. As Don Ravico says, the 86er is driving on manual for the first time. Hence, the potential struggles. Oh, folks, not enough players remaining to start the session. What in the world is going on here? 1 second. Oh, my word. All right, folks, I'm going to look to get straight back into this lobby. I'm not sure why that happened. I was the lobby host. My network is still intact. All right. 1 second, folks. We're going to look to sort this out as soon as possible. All right, folks, we're just making sure we rejoin the lobby as soon as is humanly possible. All right, folks, we're still working behind the scenes to get straight back into the lobby. What an entertaining Q2 we saw there with Django and Don Rabico making their presence felt among the top runners. Django setting that 24.0 at the end of that second quali session to top the timing tower, giving Don Rabico something to think about before this session is well and truly done. I cannot wait. I cannot wait to see how they fare. Who will top the timing sheets and start this race from pole position? All right, folks. We're still trying to regain access to the lobby. Welcome to Q3, folks. They have now begun. We have less than 12 minutes. We're back. We're live. We are intact. I am happy about that. So thank you for your patience, folks. Thank you for your patience. We did not miss a single minute of significant drama. Man Ray, Raymond Mantosi, is back to reclaim his pride and his place in the top tier of BrakeAway Racing League. To secure his place, I beg your pardon, in the top tier of BrakeAway Racing League. But instead, the first person that we will watch, and it will be an audio lap, folks, is Zotal, to see how he feels, how he fares in his initial push lap. .427 is Zotal's early marker, his early gauntlet. Will it be enough? There's a slow-moving McLaren making way, I believe, possibly for the second Red Bull, that being Man Ray, to come across the line with a 24.889. How's that for Man Ray? And Alfa Romeo of Nkawako Diwa comes across the line, but Tepo Tamba goes even quicker. There's a Mercedes about to begin their hot lap in earnest, but man, oh man, oh man. The early marker is a 24.588 as things currently stand. Man, oh man, oh man. I cannot wait to see how this pans out between now and the end of proceedings, folks. I just want to make sure we have all the necessary info as we watch the champion now make his way rushing towards the the Sector 2 split, which will be coming, of course, after he navigates the chicane and makes his way down towards turn number 9. Smirch Django has to navigate some slow-moving cars, the AlphaTauri of Seppo Temba, with the confidence of the provisional pole position. Now making his way around, Django is still on controller. So says Mango. I would have thought he was on the wheel. 53.269 is Django's efforts at the Sector 2 split, so he's looking good, looking comfortable, looking confident. Behind him, not too far behind, is Don Rabico, who will get a sense in just a sector to go, who will get a sense of whether or not his time will be good enough to secure provisional pole position. Smirch Django, the champion, towards the line now. 1 minute 20, 1 minute 21. What'll it be for the champion? It's going to be a 24.1 for Smirch Django. Provisional pole for him. Don Rabico will give his answer within a second or two. Here comes now the final corner. It's Rabico across the line. It's a 23.743 by some margin, the quickest time that we have seen today, but not quite enough to pip the blistering effort set by Mango. But of course, this is Tier 1, and the quickest man on track is Don Rabico. 6 minutes of the session to go. Man, oh man, oh man. What a beautiful start we have had here. Don Rabico feeling very, very confident as things currently stand. Beautiful stuff that we've seen thus far. Capoza, currently the fourth quickest driver, sitting in P4. Man Ray P5, Zotal P6, so the Red Bulls running in close proximity there. We then have Ngawako Dwax in P7, Context, and Donathan Laka and Fence yet to set their representative times as things currently stand. The invites have been resent, folks, so hope you can rejoin there as things currently stand. Looking forward to a beautiful session here to conclude our Q3 and get a sense of how the race proper will unfold. Well, here we are, folks. Donathan Laka is going to be next to set his representative lap. Turns 1, 2, clean for the McLaren driver, whose teammate Lipo put in a valiant effort, but was eliminated through Q2. So Donathan Laka is McLaren's hope in the battle, the last joust for potential pole position. What will it be for Don this time around? Currently has yet to set a time, neither has Context. Looks like Fence has just retired his car. Wonder if that was in the pits or otherwise. We will see as the time ticks right on along. 3.5 minutes of this session to go. Here comes Don towards the end of Sector 2, 53.606, turn 9. Navigated without incident for the McLaren driver. Looking okay, looking good, looking solid, looking comfortable. 3.5 minutes he has got to go. We saw the likes of the 86er spitting out on this portion of track a little bit earlier on, but no such issues for the McLaren driver. 3 minutes of this session remaining. Here comes Donathan Laka now towards the line. It's a 24.639. There we go. P5 for Donathan Laka, who was one of the shining lights for anyone who would be a rookie in the top tier. So some of the pacier drivers in tiers 2 and 3 can look towards the likes of Donovan Laka, the likes of Mex, the likes of Fente, even the likes of Kaboza in seasons past. Let's see now how Tsepo Temba can do. Don't forget him. Tsepo Temba was a debutant in Tier 1 at the same time as Kaboza. Tsepo Temba, Kaboza, Ban Kobe debuted in the top tier at the same time, in the same season. And man, oh man, were they absolutely sensational. They took to this top tier like ducks to water as the top two runners now make their way out onto track for their outlaps. There's a slow-moving Ferrari. Is it context? Has he had an issue here? No, he's just moving slowly, but he's in the way of Tsepo Temba, who crashes straight into the Ferrari. What happened there? Context was not looking in his mirrors, and Tsepo Temba's push lap completely wrecked, completely pulverized. His car is out. Drama in Abu Dhabi as Tsepo Temba collides with the rear of Context. And that will be pretty much Context's rear wing toasted as things currently stand. Tsepo Temba will be absolutely livid at that moment. Oh man, what on earth was going on there? The drivers on their outlaps include the likes of Don Ravico, Django, and Zotal, while Man Ray is already on his push lap, completing Sector 1, but not yet finding a semblance of improvement. So Man Ray has got it all to do here, folks. And as he does that, we will hop on board. Really not sure what happened there between Context and Tsepo Temba. He just came straight back onto attracted Context and made... Oh, Django, meanwhile, goes wide on the exit of the initial sequences of corners. Oh, the pressure's starting to tell for Django, who is chasing Don Rabico. How much time will that cost him? He finds 2/10 worth of improvement. But what more could that have been? Django going wide, and Don Rabico, at this particular moment, will not be aware that Django did that. But perhaps the team at Aston Martin are just leaving Don Rabico to do his thing. We'll now see how both these laps go. This is Django's viewpoint, navigating turns 6 and 7. There goes Don Rabico. Look at the gap between those two of them. Now, it is now or never if you have not crossed the line to begin your push lap. It is now or never, folks. Don Rabico in the pound seats, in the driver's seats, in provisional pole position as he now begins the third and final sector. Hotel section, turn 11, clean, turn 12. Flawless, nailed the apex, does Don Rabico. It's now or never, as we have mentioned. You only get one shot. Do not miss your chance for pole. This opportunity comes once in Q3 as far as the top two are concerned. It's going to be Don Rabico to set his initial final attempt across the line. 23.228 is his push-up attempt. And Smith Django, try as he might, he cannot get close. It's going to be P2 provisionally as things stand. And Gawako Dwax set a 24.575 to go provisionally in P3. Sensational stuff by the Alfa Romeo driver. Here comes Kaposa with his effort towards the line. He pips Ngawako. He's now P3. What about Zotal? He's going to be one of the last drivers running. It's an Aston Martin, Mercedes, and Williams top three. A beautiful mix at the top of the top tier. Ngawako Dwax makes it a mixed bag. Alfa Romeo in P4. Here comes Zotal. It's now or never for the would-be challenger, but it's only P7, 24.789. Man, oh man, oh man. What a lap, says C-Clay in the comments section. It's Don Rabico, who is the Don of the Yas Marina Circuit in Abu Dhabi. He will start in pole position in P1 and will share the front row with none other than his nemesis, Smirts Django. Look out for the danger that is Kaboza in P3. His race starts are legendary, sensational. Ngawako Dwax, a beautiful performance to start this race in P4. Man, oh man, what sensational stuff. What a beautiful Q3 session that was. Don Rabico tops the timesheets. The gap between him and Django, who will rue that mistake in Sector 1, almost half a second. Look at that. Kaboza, 8/10 behind the top running Rabico. Ngawako P4. Septemba P5 after that huge crash in quali. Septemba in P5 from Donovan Laka. Zotal P7. Man Ray 8th. Context 9th. And Fence in P10. Look at that. 3 sets of ties for Zotal. 2 each for most of the grid with the exception of Context. Well done, Don, says Sunhasher in the comment section. Looking forward to see how he and the rest of this grid fares.
Man, oh man.
As Buddha says, Tier 1 is even crazier. Absolutely. And it looks like we have a beautiful grid here. It looks like almost a full house here in the top tier of BrakeAway Racing League. BrakeAway Racing League. All right, folks. I just need to make sure that everything is in order here. It seems like rejoining the lobby has put me in a race car, which of course we do not want. So just give me a moment. There's a little bit of an echo here, so I'm not sure if someone has joined the commentary.
I'm not sure if someone has joined the commentary.
One of the drivers have joined the commentary box. Please mute yourself. It might be. I'm not sure if it's Man Ray.
Not sure if it's a Man Ray.
If you could mute yourself, perhaps, because that's the one that I'm seeing on my screen. All right, folks. I've sorted out, I believe, what should be those audio issues. I managed to rejoin the commentary party chat, exit and rejoin. So, folks, what I'm gonna do here now, please excuse this issue with me being on track. Not supposed to be on track. I'm just going to hopefully let this car be disqualified as we catch up with the action at the top of the pops, folks. My car is not supposed to be here. So, oh my word. If I quit, it'll bring out the safety car. It says Sensei is out. They've deployed a virtual safety car. Fensei had a crash, folks. So since the VSC is out, I'm just going to make sure that my car is also out. Fensei crashed out on the exit of turn number 1, folks. So that is the early developments here, meaning Don Ravico is still hanging on to the lead of this race. We do apologize for that slight issue at the start of proceedings. As things currently stand, we have Ravico and Django leading proceedings. Seppo Temba, who of course was reeling from that issue in quali, has managed to gain 1 place since the start of this race. Kaboza hanging on to P3, and Goako D-Wax loses a place to Seppo Temba. Zotal has gained 1. Remember his struggles at the start of last season. He struggled to gain momentum at the start of the races, but this time he gains 1 place. Donovan Laka, the victim of Zotal there. Context, aka Justice, has gained a place. He's now up to 8. Ban Kobe gaining 7 places. What a sensational start from the driver today, rocking the colors of Alpine. He did say in the comment section, do not discount me. Do not count me out. He was absolutely spot on. As we go green again, we go racing again. The virtual safety car has ended as the fire emojis come on for Ban Kobe. And now look at that. It's a beautiful formation. They're all in a quick succession here, looking good. And someone has ghosted through. Django, it looks like Kaboza has taken that P2 spot from Django. Not sure exactly what is going on there, but Django under duress, under attack. And he is losing a lot of momentum here. And now Don Ravico has stolen the march on Kaboza. Or has he? Or rather, Django on Kaboza. No, it looks like network issues here. It's a slight glitchy moment. Django's network seems to be showing him disappearing left, weaving to left and right, but he is attacking the race leader, that being Don Radical, but he's not close enough to get that move done at this particular point of the race. Behind him is the Spectre of Caboza, who is huffing and puffing and hunting the Mercedes driver, but can he get it done? Lazzati says, let's go, Ban Kobe. Here comes the Smirch Django. It's the battle for the race leads in the rush towards turn number 9, but he's not close enough to get that move done. Don Radical fighting it with all he's got in the rush towards turn number 9. What a beautiful start to the race we have here as you get a sense of the tire strategies. The top 2 running mediums, Caboza running those hard compound tires, as is Teppo Temba, who currently is hanging on to that P4 spot. Man, oh man, oh man, beautiful stuff. Ingowako D-Wax is having the fight of his life right now. Hard versus medium tire runners. P6 versus P5. Alfa Romeo versus Red Bull. Hunting down Zotal for that P5 spot. Don Radical comes across the line, hanging on to P1. Smirch Django about half a second behind him. Look at that beautiful formation as they all cling onto the racing line and try to gather as much momentum as they possibly can. They're still hanging on in those orders in that position. Ban Kobe, P7. Donathan Laka is hunting him down in P8. Mandla is currently 9th and is being chased by Sun Hashira, who is... Oh, Mandla has a huge spin and he tumbles down the order. He's now down to P11. He was running, trying to battle with the likes of Sun Hashira. Now his tires are screaming. He can't find grip. He's now onto the grass and Mandla's going to have to fight his way down from P16. His teammate is all the way at the back, having potentially come in earlier. Mex is in the session. Mex is fighting Lipo. Mex is on the inside line, and Mex might just have this move done in the run towards turn number 6. It's Lipo who's going to fight it. He's going to fight it, but they're still side by side. Lipo's not giving it away, but Mex has the advantage, and he is now ahead of the McLaren driver, who is doing so well in this fight in the midfield. They're all running so close together. Here comes Man Ray on the back of Lipo. Man Ray almost going into the back of the McLaren. He had to go easy on the brakes and go off track to avoid making contact there. So a heart and mouth moment for Man Ray, fighting for his life there in the midfield on those medium compound tires. Behind him is the Spectre of Tindo, hunting down the Red Bull ahead of him. Tindo had to start from the back, having joined the lobby late. It's now or never, Tindo. He's got about, 4/10 between himself and Man Ray ahead of him. What can he do? On board we go with Tindo, who's commandeered an Alfa Romeo here today. Someone has had a moment. It's Sun Hashira, who spun out and now tumbles down to P11 as things currently stand. So Lee, a.k.a. Sun Hashira, with it all to do as the yellow flag turned to green, and that caution yellow flag has been removed. Sun Hashira struggling, and he's now sandwiched in between Man Ray and Lipo right now. Look at this battle. It's so tight. Sun Hashira trying not to make contact. They made contact, and Lipo is off track. Hashira and Lipo made contact, and the McLaren driver came off second best. He is off the track completely, but he's lost his wing to Lipo. He's still in this little DRS train, and Sun Hashira may be having a word with the stewards courtesy of that contact with Lipo. Sabotage there, and the McLaren driver will be absolutely ruining that moment of contact between himself and Sun Hashira in the Alpine today. Bangani, Debo Croc will need no second invitation. Thank you very much, DRS, and now he is up. And it looks like Caboza has had a moment further up the track. What was Lipo doing there, says Tapiso in the comment section. Caboza was in P3, had a moment, now down to P5. Teppo Temba said, thank you very much. I will take that P3 spot, potential podium for me. And Caboza is now up against Ban Kobe, who is doing sensationally well since joining this lobby late. Now up to P6. Beautiful performance by the driver here today. Ban Kobe's going to attack and run towards turn 1. He's got the inside. Will they make a little bit of contact? It's going to be touch and go, possibly. They do make a little bit of contact, but not enough. Ban Kobe has an almighty spin, and Caboza comes off there unscathed, and Ban Kobe gets surpassed. He tumbles down the order. He's now down to P8. He was having a beautiful race. It was up to 6th, but thankfully it doesn't look like Ban Kobe took wing damage. So now he is in this DRS train in the midfield from Ingowako all the way down to Man Ray, seemingly. Mex, I beg your pardon. And here comes Jonathan Lacka on the inside of D-Wax. Oh, superior straight line speed. The McLaren driver now getting that move up to P6. The battle for the race lead is, of course, Django versus Don Radical. Beautiful battling it has been since the start of this race all over the track. Seppo Temba has lost ground in the midfield. Zotal, who is running medium compound tires, which are quicker, of course, and grippier at this particular point of the race compared to Seppo Temba's hard. Zotal is now up to P3, making ground, gaining ground is Zotal in that Red Bull, and now has a battle on his hands with the likes of Seppo Temba. So beautiful battles pretty much all throughout this grid here. Django using a little bit of battery to try to stay in touch with Don Rabico. He's down to about 62%. Don Rabico, meanwhile, taking a leaf out of Seaclay's playbook. He's managing that battery use is at about 75%, and he's just happy to keep in the lead without using too much of that battery power, as you can see over there. Don Rabico, the Aston Martin driver who has looked imperious since coming to the top tier of BrakeAway Racing League, is here for one reason and one reason only, and that is to snatch the crown from Smirch Django, who could be a one-season champion come the end of this season, joining the likes of course, he has already joined the likes of Titus as a BrakeAway Racing League champion, but it may not be a long run if Don Rabico has his way. Here comes Django on the attack now, the run towards turn number 9. Can he get it done? Will they make a little bit of contact? Oh, Don Rabico holding his own, saying no, not yet, not now, but Django gets the move done on the exit of turn number 9, and now it's Don Rabico's turn to go on the hunt. Beautiful battles that we're seeing here. Lap 6 of 29 is when the lead of the race has changed here. Smirch Django on the attack, and he's now in the advantageous point of hanging on to the race lead. But now Don Rabico will just bide his time, knowing that he has the advantage of DRS now, as Django sets a 27.600 to be the quickest person on track. Don Rabico with it all to do here, but we'll just bide his time. Smirch Django is going to try to build a little bit of a gap between himself and the former race leader. Zotal running in P3. Look at that gap, folks. 9.5 seconds is the gap between Zotal and the top two drivers. And he now has to deal with Seppo Temba behind him in this 7th lap of a total 29. How difficult will he find it? Well, Seppo Temba won't make his life easy. And as he's been tucked into the slipstream, Seppo Temba, he's just been content to keep on recharging that battery. It's now up to about, 78%? So Seppo Temba looking good. Looking to have a say on the battle for the podium before all is said and done. P4 for Seppo Temba. He crashed out in Miami last time out, but he's back now to stake his claim on a podium spot. And indeed, if we get a safety car, who knows what may yet happen and what Seppo Temba could do between now and the end of proceedings. Seaclay says the top two are really bullying the rest of this top tier here. So Seaclay perhaps having fond memories of what he did in seasons past. Seppo Temba was a little bit braver on the brakes, almost making contact with the back of the Red Bull there as they now begin lap number 8. Seppo Temba was close, but no cigar as far as that overtake is concerned. Let's hop now back to that midfield battle. Van Kobe trying to fight his way back up the pack. Remember, Van Kobe did tumble down to P8. He clawed his way back up and finds himself back in P6, Van Kobe. So looking very racy, very good, very confident as we get that beautiful sweeping helicopter shot. Next is the driver hunting down Jonathan Lacka. Former rookies no more, as at the top of the grid, the lead has changed once again. Don Rabico and Seaclay and Django having a titanic battle there. There's a slow-moving McLaren bringing out the yellow flag. It looks like Lipo bringing out the yellow flag. Lipo, of course, really struggling out here, having had that crash, that dramatic moment we saw earlier, contact with Sun Hashira last time out. The lead has changed once again. Django back in control, but as I say that, it looks like that is really the one to watch. Because these two have swapped places again, and the gap is about a second between the top two. But there goes Don Rabico He's not going to need a second invitation. You give him a gap, he will take it. Now it's 1.1 seconds between the top two, but it may yet be more. It's like it's definitely more because that gap is now 4 seconds. So Django struggling now in lap 9 of 29. He is slipping further and further behind, brings himself potentially back into the clutches of the chasing pack led by Zotail. Advantage Don Ravico, lap 9 of 29. Look at that gap. No. This is once again network issues. Yeah. Network glitchy issues. Perhaps it's Django's network once again, which shows him at one spot, and now as the lobby carries on, he's back and the top. So he didn't quite lose the race lead. So what is going on here? Django's network. We saw him glitching earlier on. Well, Don Radical says, I don't want none more of that. I'm gonna surpass you this time in lap number 9 in turn number 9. And I'm going to reclaim advantage of this race. And Fundo was asking, did Django run out of fuel there? I think just maybe a glitch issue, and Fundo. That's why Django was, he was just looking weird. Looking in the lead and then popping to the back and to the front as far as the race lead was concerned there. So, yeah, weird network moments there. But Don Ravico is still in the lead, in the advantage. Lap 9 of 29 from Smirch Django. That gap there, of course, not represented. 6/10 and not necessarily 6 seconds. 12 seconds behind the leaders is Zotal, and Tsepo Temba follows closely behind. We've heard Zotal in recent weeks, recent times, saying, I want to eliminate mistakes. I want to stop these unforced errors and these random spins, which are putting me out of contention for really good results. Well, today's a golden opportunity, Zotal, being hunted down by Tsepo Temba. You really have a golden opportunity to make sure that you make good on that word that you said earlier on. Kapoza, running at P5, has a bit of daylight between himself and Tsepo Temba in P4. Ban Kobe is going to have to work his butt off to catch up with the Kapoza. Currently P6 is Ban Kobe. Good recovery. It's lap 10 and the gap is 12 seconds. What is going on? Says Crash in the comment section, barely believing the kind of performance that we're seeing from the top two drivers. Mex hunting down Ban Kobe, 1.4 seconds behind there. Donathan Laka was almost within touching distance a couple of laps ago, but not quite this time out. The 86er having a recovery race of sorts. As far as his prospects are concerned, he has got a three-way battle between himself, Sun Hashira, and Ingawako. Look at that. Ingawako is flashing. Sun Hashira will go on the attack, but he's not quite close enough to do so in this turn number 9. He takes an alternate line, does Sun Hashira, in the run towards turn number 12 as Ingawako. We've lost Tindo, folks. He's left the session. Might be a network issue as far as he's concerned. Hopefully we get him back. Sun Hashira is really giving Ingawako a lot to think about. Sun Hashira has been saving up his battery. He's at about 30%. Ingawako was flashing, so he was hovering at the 10% mark as we watch this DRS train from the 86er all the way down to Debo Croc, who's trying to catch up to the likes of Man Ray, who is also hovering potentially within DRS of Sun Hashira ahead of him. Man Ray, back in the top tier, has a chance today to find himself within the points by the time all is said and done. He's improving on his personal fastest laps as Tsepo Temba and Zotal exchange places ahead of the pack. Zotal seemingly fighting back. Tsepo Temba not quite letting it go. Will actually hop on board with that battle because it looks like it is definitely heating up between these two. And as they fight, Kapoza will be here to take advantage. It's Tsepo Temba on the outside in the run towards turn number 9. And Tsepo Temba with the confidence in that AlphaTauri overtakes Zotal and stamps his authority on that P3 spot. Zotal is not going to have it easy because those medium tires are aging. And Kapoza is here to take full advantage, potentially. But will he? That is the question. Will Kapoza be close enough to take advantage of Zotal here as Tsepo Temba now finds himself 13 seconds behind the leading pack, who are running within DRS of one another as we had seen a little bit earlier on. Welcome back, Tsepo Temba, says Crash in the comment section. This is the person that we know, the man that we know. Says Crash in the comment section. He's putting on a masterclass. Is Seppo Temba overtaking the veteran Zotal, and of course Kaboza looking to have his say in this battle for P3. And as they fight, they slip further and further away from the leading pair. Crash says the hard tires are the tire of choice around here. Well, as it stands, those hard tires are definitely going to start singing. Zotal thought about it in the rush towards the chicane there of turns 6 and 7, but he was not close enough. Zotal is now trying to get this move done on Seppo Temba. He's basically going to say, you know what, Seppo Temba, Kaboza is going to be your headache. I don't want to get sucked into a battle with the Williams driver. So here they come now into turn 9, where Seppo Temba overtook Zotal, but the Rebel driver not close enough to do the same. Zotal really struggles through turn number 9. You saw how Seppo Temba managed to eke out the smallest advantage there, and Kaboza managed to find himself there into the advantage there. Don Ravico has come into the pits earlier than Django, so the race leader has rolled the dice. But where will Seppo Temba come out relative to the race leader, former race leader? Look at Don Ravico coming out there. It looks like he will be surpassed there. Yet Seppo Temba will pass him, as will Kaboza and Zotal. No, Zotal has also come into the pits. So taking a leaf out of Don Ravico's book. It looks like, who else? It's Ban Kobe has also come into the pits at this particular point. So the lead of the race has changed. The pressure has been hurled onto this man, Smirch Django. The ball is now in his court. He has to push if he's going to come in immediately, if he's going to call the bluff that has been, if he's going to respond to the bluff that's been called by Don Radical and come in immediately. It's now or never for the race leader. His in-lap needs to be inch perfect as he now makes his way towards Sector 3 hotel section. Turns 12, 13 are clean, down to 35% worth of battery power. I expect he will use a little bit of battery on the exit of 14. No, he doesn't. He bides his time, does Django, and almost has a moment with the rear there. And he now finally makes his way into the pit, slows down as to not earn a drive-through penalty. Debo Croc has DNF'd, and it's a safety car! Safety car! Perhaps perfect time for Smirch Django, because now everyone will have to slow down. Seppo Temba was perhaps hoping to go much longer, but we'll just call it earlier. Kapoza will also pit. Ban Kobe speeding under the safety car. It's a rookie error for Ban Kobe. He earns a time penalty. But where will Don Rabico come out relative to Django is the question. Oh, just behind Django! It's just behind Django, so the safety car coming out at the perfect time for Smirch Django, who possibly could not have made it, considering Don Ravico's pace there. It's the perfectly timed safety car, and the team members at Mercedes-AMG Petronas are high-fiving, fist-pumping at the timing of that, which hands over the advantage to Smirch Django. We have lost Bongani, Debo Croc, and Gwenya, becoming the second driver to crash out here today. You can learn my gamer tag down there. The second driver to DNF brings out the first safety car of the day. Man Ray among the latest to come out of the pits. Mandla as well, running in P14. Context, aka Justice, in P15. Loveness is running down in P16, so not such a great day for him. I am Lipo, making up the back of the pack, P17, as things currently stand. So Josh, aka Damnesia, where are you? Looks like you might be the only driver to miss out on this race here today. And, well, it doesn't bode well for Josh. He was cutting it fine last time. Josh missed the race in Miami. He misses the race here today. So that's 2 out of 12 total races missed for Josh. I Am Lipo comes out P17. And the lay of the land under the safety car in lap 14 is Smirch Django in the lead. Don Rabico currently running in P2. Seppo Temba behind him. Kaboza running in P4. Fresh set of mediums for him. Well, they called it early to Temba and Kaboza, possibly coming way earlier than they would have wanted. So those medium tires towards the end may be at a disadvantage here. Zotal, P5, fresh set of hard tires for him. And Crash reckons that this man, Zotal, has the advantage in that battle for the third and final podium spot. Well, the two drivers ahead of Zotal, of course, on those mediums. And as this race goes on, well, they may yet struggle towards the end. Max, P6, Donovan Laka, P7, Ban Kobe, with that drive-through penalty, rookie error for Ban Kobe, speeding under the safety car. The 86er behind him will sense an opportunity to claim some decent points when Ban Kobe serves that drive-through penalty. Nkawako, D-Wax, currently running in that 10th spot, the last of the points finishers. Now, D-Wax finished P10 last time out, and currently running in that exact same spot. Fresh mediums for him. Sun Hashira, we know he does not leave anything to chance. He will absolutely be sending it when all is said and done, and when this safety car comes in. So watch out for his race restart. Man Ray currently P12, Tindo P13, Mandla P14, Context Justice 15th. Loveness is behind him. We know he enjoys this track, Loveness. He won the season finale, which was on this very track last time out. So Loveness, definitely racy around here. He's one to watch when the safety car gets called back in. I am Lipo, rookie, down to P17. Well, folks, we're now watching the safety car make its way around this 5.2 kilometer track. And when the safety car comes and is recalled, which should be soon, because we see the track icon glow is no longer purple, so we should expect to get racing once again. All right, folks, here we go. The safety car is in. Django versus Don Radical versus Teppo Temba behind them. Look how close Teppo Temba is to Django. Oh, Django, he's ghosting here. Teppo Temba seemingly is in P2, unless it's a glitch from Django's lobby, from Django's network here. Don Radical is still in the advantageous point as we get a yellow flag in Sector 1. There's a slow-moving car. It's the Ban Kobe serving as the drive-through penalty, but it doesn't look like we've had any dramatic crashes thus far up until this point. Look at that gap. 1.3 seconds is the advantage that Don Radical has between himself and the rest. There's a car who's gone completely off. Is it Sun Hashira? Yes, it is Sun Hashira. Look at the back there. He went completely off track coming on the exit of Turn 5, and now that is his restart completely shanked, as Teppo Temba is now the driver looking to give Don Radical the biggest of headaches. Smirch Django, if this is to be believed, has tumbled all the way down to P13. So his network issues coming home to roost potentially there. And Mex, what a performance for him. If he can hang on to this P4 spot, Zotal is the barrier between him and that third and final podium spot. So the running order shaken up here to some degree. Zotal looking to hold his advantage, taking a defensive posture through the hotel section. Turns 12 through 14. He hangs on to P3, does Zotal, but he loses ground to Teppo Temba as he tries to keep Mex firmly and clearly behind him. Here comes the chasing pack now. The 86er now up to P5. What a sensational recovery race it's been by the 86er, who got knocked out in Q2. Mex versus Zotal, the battle that we're watching now, as Teppo Temba is now within DRS of the race leader, now within half a second of the race leader. It's beautiful stuff in lap number 17 of 29. The battle between all these drivers in the top four here heating up. Here comes Mex on the inside of Zotal, who gives them enough room here, and they do not make any sort of contact whatever, but Mex is well within touching distance here. And as Zotal tries to break the toe, tries to break the slipstream over here, Mex is giving absolutely nothing away. And now on the run towards turn number 6, will Mex send it? No, he does not as yet. Beautiful battle as Zotal's screeching tires send up a plume of smoke here in turn 6 and 7. Beautiful battling between the drivers currently battling for that third and final podium spot. P3, P4, Zotal, Mex. The battle rages on. Lap number 17 of 29. And just ahead of them, if you can just take a slight peek, is of course Teppo Temba versus Don Ravico here. Teppo Temba showing Don Ravico, of course, that he will not have it his way at all as this race hurdles on towards its dramatic second half and the inevitable conclusion. Here comes Teppo Temba. Don Ravico having a little bit of moments on the exit of turn number 14. Turn 15 is clean for Teppo Temba, but he does lose a little bit of momentum there. That gap now half a second as DRS has been enabled. Here comes the chasing pair, that being the Red Bull of Zotal and Mex in the AlphaTauri behind these top two. Beautiful series of battles, sequences of battles that we're getting to see here. It's tasty stuff as Teppo Temba has saved up his battery. He has not used the tiniest inch, has not used a single watch as the safety car comes out once again. Racing will be suspended to a degree. Of course, they have to slow down to about 40% of normal race pace, courtesy of the safety car coming out. Who did that safety car come out for? So Don Ravico versus Teppo Temba was that battle. Zotal hanging on to that P3 spot for Mex. What a sensational battle they've been having. The 86er, P5. What a day for him. Caboza, P6. Ingowako, D-Wax, currently 7. Man Ray running an 8th. Donathan Laka is the driver behind him. Fresh mediums, everybody. That is Christopher Krasser's recommendation. All these wings seem to be intact as things currently stand. Just trying to get a proper look, a proper sense as we get this gorgeous shot in the run towards turn 9. Tindo's wing looks good, as does Mandla's. Django down on P12. He's lost his wing. But that lost wing may have been the incident which sent him tumbling down to P12, or it could have been, of course, the incident which brought out the safety car. So Smirch Django not quite having such a good day out here. Down to P12. Caboza is following Crash's advice. He's going to give up track position for now and fit a brand new set of, will it be fresh mediums? And a wing change. So perhaps it was Caboza's incident which may have brought out the safety car there. He's one of the 5 drivers coming into the pits right now. Caboza, Ban Kobe, whose mediums will switch to, I beg your pardon, whose hards will switch to brand new mediums down at the back of the pack. Context. P17. Well, hard tires for him. Perhaps a surprising choice here for context. Exactly. Everybody from Ban Kobe through to Caboza has those medium tires. So Context is going to have his work cut out for him. But I Am Lipo, under safety car, now has a chance to catch up once again. The pack will be backed up behind the safety car once again, of course. And I Am Lipo is now in P12, half a second behind Sun Hashira. But on those aging hard compound tires, may yet have an almighty struggle to hang on to that midfield spot. Sun Hashira, P11, has the time penalty to contend with, 3 seconds. The same margin that Loveness also has. So that will come to bear before all is said and done. Now, with the safety car having come in, let's take a look at how things have been shaken up. With the safety car having come out, I beg your pardon, it's Don Ravico in the race lead. We're going to have another lap under safety car. Teppo Temba, P2. What a day for him. Sensational performance. DNF'd in race 1 in Miami, but now he's back and potentially fighting for a race win here. Don Ravico didn't shake him off that quickly. Teppo Temba looked every bit as comfortable going toe-to-toe with Don Rabico. So, yeah, it may yet be a beautiful conclusion to this race here. Zotal running in P3. Mex is 4th from the 86er. And Gawako D-Wax opted not to come in to keep track position. 6-lap old medium compound tires. He'll be happy, of course, that those mediums will get a little bit of respite under the safety car. Of course, those mediums aren't being pushed too hard at this point. Currently P6, Man Ray running at P7, Donathan Laka 8th, Tindo 9th. Tindo started from the back of the pack, remember, joined the lobby late. Mandla is running at P10, Sun Hashra 11th, I Am Lipo 12th, Kaboza 13th, Loveness is in 14th, Django, who's having a terrible start to his season. Remember, he crashed out in Miami, sitting on 0 points, is a defending champion, and is in P15.
Sam kupugelo Django. Kumnandi last year I collected my points. P1, P2, MR P15. Ego Shubile Kuluva for himself, teammate Jaco P5. Ego Kupugelo.
Yes, Kupugelo, Kushubile, Django not having such a great time here, as Brick Talks notes. Context is not going to make life easy for Django either. Van Kobe already being out of the points, running at the back, opted to come into the pits for a fresh set of softs, so he's rolling the proverbial dice, and he's quick around here, as race control gives the word that the safety car is coming in at the end of this lap. We're about to get racy once again. Oh man, I cannot wait. Rabico, Sepotemba, Zotal, Mex, the 86er, and Goako D-Wax. Who will get the early advantage at the race restart? Now, it's going to be Don Rabico's prerogative to back them all up before we get racing once again. Of course, some of the drivers in the midfield had the option of rolling the dice and coming in, but Don Rabico said, no, I will stay out. And as the safety car comes in, there goes Don Rabico. Look at that gap. Enough of the confidence to warm up his tires down the main straight from Sepotemba, who is about half a second behind. Someone is tumbling down the order. It looks like Tindo, who had a horrible race restart. He's now down to the back of the pack as everyone is scrambling in the midfield. It looks like Don Rabico hands on to the race lead. Zotal gets racy with Max behind him, and the 86er is looking to reclaim a semblance of an advantage. Mandla has opted to come into the pits there. Rolling the dice is Mandla. Perhaps he damaged his wing, calling it and coming into the pits very late. The 86er overtakes Max, or does he? It's wheel to wheel. It's side by side racing by the Mercedes and Aston AlphaTauri driver as the 86er bides his time and down into the braking zone, opts to live to fight another day. But he comes on the exit of the chicane, and the 86er is up to P4. It's sensational stuff by the driver in the W13 as Max is struggling to warm up those tires on the race restart, and the 86er says thank you very much. Now up to P4 and potentially fighting for the podium places. Here comes Sepotemba on the back of the race leader. Clive Adams, thank you for the vote of confidence. Remember to like the stream if you have not done so already. It's Sepotemba, less than half a second behind the race leading Don Rabico, who won race 1 in Miami, looking to repeat the feat and make it 2 out of 2 in Abu Dhabi. Sepotemba does not get the cleanest exit out of turn number 14, loses ground, almost 8 tenths now. And as Sepotemba loses ground, of course, Zotal will say thank you very much, potentially, if he makes a further mistake. Look at that, it's a DRS train at the race restart. Here in lap number 22 of 29. And folks, if you've just joined us, thank you. It's the top tier of BrakeAway Racing League action here. Looking forward to a fantastic conclusion to race proceedings here, as it looks like Zotal and Sepotemba may yet be in for a beautiful series of battle between themselves over here. Meanwhile, Mex is hunting down the 86er. We saw that beautiful overtake between the 86er, the 86er overtaking Mex. This time, it's Mex looking to return the favor, as there's a sensational overtake between Don Laka. Kapoza is going for it on the inside of the McLaren in the run towards turn number 5. It could be a 2-car overtake, turn 6 and 7. Kapoza loses ground, outbraked himself there, and what would have been a sensational overtake could be just one. It's Kapoza versus Donathan Laka, side by side, wheel to wheel, in the run towards turn number 9. It's sensational stuff by the Williams driver, draining that battery down to 60%, and he gets the move done. It's Kapoza up to P9, having already pitted, and Sepotemba has had a moment. He's tumbled all the way down to P8. He was fighting for the race win with Sepotemba. Had a moment perhaps, but now he's down to P9. Heartbreaking moment for the AlphaTauri driver as we were watching Camposa's sensational overtakes there. He now slips to P9, meaning Zotile is in contention in the top spot for that top spot, but he's going to have his work cut out for him. Don Ravico is not going to make it easier. We know how ruthless Don Ravico is when he smells blood in the water, proverbially speaking, like a shark smelling blood in water. Don Ravico will not give this 3.2 second advantage away without a fight. Mex is now trying to get the final podium spot on the inside of the 86er. Oh, the 86er takes Mex with him. They both send it into the wall, and they both have crashed out in dramatic fashion in lap number 23 of 29. The third safety car of the day comes out as we lose 2 cars on the exit of turn number 5 in dramatic fashion. It's a double DNF for the drivers who are getting also racy. And that drama has brought Zotile into the reckoning. But look at this. Ban Kobe is one of the biggest gainers of that huge drama, that huge crash. Ban Kobe was stone last under the previous safety car. Loveness has also crashed out, it must be said. Remember, folks, Ban Kobe rolled the dice last time out. I think now he just had to give that place back to Ngawako because he overtook him under the safety car. Ban Kobe rolled the dice. He came into the pits. He was running at the back. He opted to give up track position. He rolled the dice, did Ban Kobe. And he said, you know what, I will fit on a set of soft compound tires. I will take the risk. And the risk has paid off. Ban Kobe is up to P4. Oh my word! Altaviz Lawrence barely believing the mistakes that Seppo Temba made to lose all that ground. He was running. Seppo Temba was in such a great position to fight for the race win, but finds himself 7th now. By the way, Altaviz, it's good to see you in the comment section. Altaviz Lawrence, one of South Africa's most talented thespians and broadcasters, it must be said. Put Altaviz Lawrence in front of